From our earliest years, the Melbourne Cup has become the heart and soul of our nation.
All set for the Cup. Gates crash back, and they're off and racing to an almighty roar.
For many, it is 3 minutes of emotion that unites Australia like no other.
Give the slip in front, 4 lengths to the mare Ethereal giving chase, then Persian Punch, further back to May the horse.
For a chosen few, it is the journey of a lifetime.
Ethereal's coming hard on the outside, the New Zealand mare, Ethereal out to give the slip, Ethereal hit the lead in the Cup, Ethereal takes the Caulfield Melbourne Cup double.
Welcome to fabulous Flemington.
Ethereal and Scott Seamer have beaten Give the Slip.
And now another trainer, another jockey have tasted the air at the top of the mountain, a feat that allows them to join the immortals.
Mate, it's unbelievable. I just won the Melbourne Cup.
The colour, the excitement, the passion.
And my beautiful wife and children home watching. I love you all, and we done it. Woo! Good on you, Grizzly.
From the legends of the turf to the stars of the future, from the names on our lips to those who shall never be forgotten. Flemington, on the first Tuesday in November, is pure magic.
Finish. That is one of the great finishes in Melbourne Cup history.
This week, a new prayer has been answered, and a dream has come true once again. Welcome to the 2001 Melbourne Cup Carnival.
2 days ago, to the roar of more than 90,000 people, Flemington was again an historic sight as the ladies took charge of the Melbourne Cup. Trainer Sheila Laxon and her mare Ethereal captured the hearts of everyone as she became the first woman to train a Melbourne Cup winner in its 140 years. Hello everyone, I'm Sandra Sully and welcome to Flemington for the third day of this Melbourne Cup Carnival. You know, Ladies' Day may have come a little earlier this week, but today is really the day for the girls, the Crown Oaks Day. It's a day for the fillies both on and off the track with the Group 1 Crown Oaks in a little under 4 hours' time. Tuesday's wet conditions may have put somewhat of a dampener on the Cup Day fashions, but we can guarantee you Melbourne will be out in full bloom today, and this is a day that's been attracting record crowds in recent years. The first race is only about 15 minutes away, so it's time to join our panel of experts. And Peter Donegan, will the legendary Bart Cummings take the Oaks for a record 8th time today?
Well, I think he's a very good chance of doing so, Sandra. Good morning, everyone. Yes, the Master Bart Cummings has the favourite magical miss in the Crown Oaks, and she's going to be very hard to beat. What a difference a couple of days makes. You saw the weather with Sandra there, and it is just a beautiful day here at Flemington, and we're going to have a wonderful day with a crowd of around about 100,000 people. Well, 100,002 actually, because my panel, somewhat reduced this morning, has joined me. Jenny Chapman and John Letts, good morning to you.
Good morning, Pete.
Morning, Pete. You look absolutely beautiful today, Jen.
Thank you very much.
Not you, Jen.
Thank you, Pete.
Have you come down after Tuesday?
Oh, look, it took a while, I can tell you. And apparently he's pulled up really well, so we're excited about that as well. We've got a long-term plan for him. We're talking Japan 2003.
Oh, is that right? Well, it is a long-term plan.
That is a long-term plan.
John Letts, when you got to Scott Seamer and Ethereal, she walked back to the enclosure. She gave absolutely everything she had.
Peter, since I've been doing the interviews out, I've never seen a horse that was so exhausted and give its best. It just had nothing left. It was out of petrol altogether. Scotty was out of petrol altogether, and after the race, Craig Williams came over to shake his hand. He couldn't even shake Craig's hand. Yeah. And we just walked, as you know, for nearly a furlong, and the mare, she had her head that far down onto the ground. I thought, well, I'm going to talk to an ostrich in a minute, because she was that far, her head was that far down, and she was just exhausted. Yeah. Scotty was the same, but what a great result.
And I spoke to Scott Seamer as he was walking in this morning. Jen and I, in fact, spoke to him. I said, how's your foot? He said, not a problem. And he said, it still hasn't quite sunk in yet. It might take a few days. Let's have a look at the weather and what it's going to be. As we said, what a difference 2 days makes, because it was terrible the other day. Today, perfect, really. Fine with a sunny morning. High cloud increasing in the afternoon, and we're looking for a temperature of 21 degrees. Just great racing weather. Now, the track condition, of course, is all important. Officially, it's rated dead at the moment. The rail's out 7 metres for the entire circuit after being out 2 metres for the first couple of days. And as we said, the weather fine 21. Penetrometer reading 4.31 on the inside. It's 4.34, outside 4.20. The lower the number, the better the going. So you will find that most of the horses in the straight races will be looking to come down the outside of the track. Time to check the scratchings for the day, and there aren't too many of them. Emergencies for most of the day, but importantly in the first there are quite a few scratchings in this babies race, and it is the Subaru Stakes, where you can take out number 1 Riona, number 6 Innovation Girl, 15 Go Marion, and 16 Emma Tiller. 1, 6, 15 and 16. What about the second, Jen?
Yes, race 2, you can take out the emergencies here. Number 17, Hercules Morse, number 18, Dragon Lass, and number 19, Hipwood. Now,
I want you to go ahead to race 5, Jack, because races 3 and 4 are clear, and race 5?
Race 5, Pete, we can scratch 17, Your Mate, 18, which is Kenny Bijou, and 19, Long Hair.
Long Hair.
Long Hair.
Long Hair.
Well, it's nearly hair.
Yeah, it's nearly hair.
How'd they name that horse anyway?
I have no idea, but I'll find out for you.
Thank you.
The Crown Oaks, race 6. Scratchings to the emergency. 17, Embraceable You. 18, Anytime Angel. There's a good Quinella, but they're not running. And 19, She Moves. 17, 18 and 19. Race 7 is clear, Jen, so what about the 8th? There's one scratching.
Yes, race 8, you take out number 11, Chong Tong.
And from the lucky, Jonathan?
Yes, there are the 3 emergencies again, Pete. Secretary General, number 17, number 18, Luke's Loot, and number 19, which is Olakai.
Beautifully done. We got through the scratchings unscathed. First time this carnival. First time for everything. Let's have a look at the Oaks Totes and see what you made of the big race today, the Crown Oaks Stakes, coming up later on this afternoon. And you can see it's early days as far as the pools are concerned. Interesting that Gold Lottie has come up the favourite rather than Magical Mischief.
Yes, that's surprising. Look, she's been a terrific filly, there's no doubt about that, but I thought Magical Miss would have been just on top of her as a favourite at this stage.
Few chances there, though. Magical Miss, Keys, Lilo Lil, Gold Lottie, Uga Chaka, all about the same. Tully Thunder's going to be right in the race too after her run the other day. Let's see, it was a pretty good performance, and she's good each way value, and it'd be great tonic for Ross McDonald to get back to the big time, a place that he occupied a lot going back years ago.
Yes, he certainly did with the Caulfield Cup and the Australian Oaks, Australasian Oaks, Pete.
Yep, the mighty Tristark was one of his great horses. Well, the first race is not too far away. In fact, it is round about 11 minutes away from now, so we should check out the figures for the first. And shortly we'll be checking in with Tim Gossage in the betting ring, because with these unraced, it is going to be all important. Number 2, Flashed. Well, it's come up the favourite, probably courtesy of the fact, Jen, that we know it can go because it's had 1 race start, 1 win.
Yeah, she was super impressive, Peter, at winning at her debut there at Bendigo. And if she's come on from there, I think she's going to be really hard to beat in this race.
Kay Bellamia, number 3, and Cirque du Soleil, number 4, definitely amongst the chances. We go over the page and take a look at the main contenders of the next lot, and you can see that number 14, Fair Bit, is the best of those at $9.30. And then a couple more, the emergency's getting a start here, and they are both at big odds. So number 2, Flashed, is the favourite with the tote for race 1, the Subaru Stakes. And there are the selections. Flashed for myself, Jennifer Omentip, and Gary Willits, and Kay Bellamia for John Letts and Dan Malicki here in the first event, the Subaru Stakes. Well, that's what the tote putters have made of the first. It's time to find out what the bookmakers have made of it, and this is going to be very important information prior to this 2-year-old race. And here's the man who gives us all the good oil right throughout the day. Tim Gossage is your name, isn't it?
Yeah.
Good morning to you.
Yeah, good on you, Pete. Thank you. You get all the horses' names, but you can't get mine. Thank you very much. Yeah, well, Flashed has opened up favourite. On the tote at the moment, it's $3.90, but I can tell you it's about half a point shorter in the bookmakers' ring. It is the clear-cut favourite. Cavallamia and Cirque du Soleil are on the second line of betting. There was some specking for number 7, Light of Day. At the moment, $13 on the tote, about 3 points shorter here in the ring. And I can tell you the Oaks Magical Miss has opened up a $3.50 favourite, Pete.
There is the tote favourite number 2, Flash, with Patrick Payne aboard for Robert Smurden in the mounting yard prior to the running of the first of 9 races on the 3rd day of the Melbourne Cup Carnival for 2001. We'll take our first break, and when we come back, the babies will be flying up the straight in the Subaru Stakes. They've been arriving here at Flemington since very early this morning. Jen and I arrived at round about 8:30, and there were people rolling through the turnstiles at that stage with their chicken, their champagne, the rugs for the lawn, the eskies. It is going to be a wonderful day for both the ladies and the gentlemen right here on Crown Oaks Day, and you'll be able to watch all of the action on Network 10 throughout Australia, and indeed welcome to many of our viewers through many parts of the world. The Ron Hutchison Award is an award named after one of our finest ever jockeys, and it is for excellence in selected races throughout the carnival. Ron gives points for the best ride. Let's have a look at the standings at the moment, and not surprisingly, Scott Seamer, the man who won the Melbourne Cup on Tuesday, is in front. Now, it'll be interesting to see. Corey Brown is on 10 points, and he has had 2 tumbles so far, but I think he is riding today. Yes. I haven't heard differently.
Well, the early news we got on Tuesday, Peter, was that he had a suspected broken arm, but the horse apparently did tread on his arm, and he's ended up with stitches to his arm and a little bit to his face as well. But I believe he's riding, yes.
Well, we've actually just had confirmation that he is not riding today.
Okay.
So we'll get some replacement riders for you throughout the day for Corey Brown. Now, the other feature today, ladies and gentlemen, is the Emirates Classic down the straight. And Jen, when I was doing the form for this race, I think I came up with 4 different selections.
Yes, it'd be easy to, Pete. I thought Felballon is going to really enjoy this type of track here today, and by race 8 it should have dried out quite a bit.
What about you, Letzi? Keeper?
I like Keeper, but we'll have to take notice of where they're going to go early, Pete. But I noticed on Saturday they pulled the gates to the outside of the track. Do you think they'll do that in the 1200?
Well, what happens is that the gates appear to be on the outside of the track, but the middle gate is in the middle of the track.
The middle gate.
So that's what happens. So say if there's a field of 11,
yes,
then you've got gates 5 and 6. They are actually in the dead centre of the track, but it looks as though the gates are towards the outside,
so
like
there we
that.
have a,
And the rail has been moved out 5 metres from Tuesday as well, Pete.
So you can see that the middle gate of, what have we got? We've got 4 scratchings here, so we've got a field of 14. So gates 7 and 8 are in the dead centre of the track. And that's the way they line them up. All right, we're going to have a look at some of these babies out behind the gates prior to the Subaru Stakes as we take a look at the tote figures. And have you found anything, Jen, here on breeding that perhaps something we should look out for amongst the unraced?
Number 3, Kay Bellamia. This horse was bought for $240,000, Pete, by Dane Hill out of Future World. So very nicely bred there. Of course, from the Tony McAvoy stable, they normally bring over a fairly good young 2-year-old in these sort of races. So definitely a chance.
Now, we just saw number 5, and that was Forenza out behind the gates. And that old superstition, Letzi, that you should back the horse of the first person that you bump into at the races. Well, Jen and I bumped into Nigel Blackiston down there before.
And you know who I bumped into?
Who?
Alan Bailey.
Did you?
And he's got number 14 fair bit, and it looked very well in the yard, and it's drawn the right side, Pete, in 17. So it might be worth something. It's $10 on the Victorian TAB.
Now, interested to get your thoughts here. Given the fact that we've got a field of 14, given the fact that the outside is probably quicker, will they all come down the outside, or do you reckon those that are drawn near the inside will find the rail? It helps the baby sometimes.
I would say that they normally do need the rail to help them along the young horses, but in saying that, you watch them, they could just go anywhere because they can be a little bit green in these type of races.
Actually, Pete, that's a good assessment of this too, because where that horse on the inside, Sean, won, is actually where the winners were coming Saturday, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yes.
So he's not actually going in or out, he's going down the spot where the Melbourne Cup winner came.
Let's get a last-minute update from the betting ring and Tim Gossage before the first.
Some stable-inspired money for number 2, Flash. Peter, the connections went through the ring with a bit of the hard-earned, and Flash will jump a very short price favourite.
So in the sale of Century Colours, Flash number number 2. Moving into the gates, as are the rest of these babies. The barrier attendants will be in there just giving them a little bit of a pat, keeping them calm. They do a wonderful job. Here are 2 other gentlemen who do a wonderful job. There's the favourite Flashed. High above the Flemington crowds, Dan Malicki and Gary Willits. Gentlemen, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, Peter. I wouldn't be surprised if this track's upgraded after this race, Peter. I walked on it. It's definitely firm, and I think it'll be... wouldn't surprise me at all to see it upgraded. Gee, I did like the look of the Flashed. These horses are drawn out a bit. They can get the advantage of getting on that outside rail. I agree with Jen. I think the ones on the inside will go to the inside because it's very hard to keep a 2-year-old going straight without the advantage of having the rail.
A lot of first starters here in the Subaru Stakes. It's a listed race for the 2-year-old fillies.
They're all pretty well behaved too, Dan, at the stage. They've all walked in pretty well. Fair bit, that jumped home it got home, it jumped awkwardly its first start, and then it ran home very well. Could run home right. Cirque du Soleil, that looked very well. One ridden by Damien Oliver, trained by Lee Freeman. Lee's had a good carnival. He's had 4 winners so far. He's got the right jockey on, that's for sure.
That's Regal Test going into the line in the Triscothic colours.
Yeah. Kay Bellamia, one trained by, written by Stephen Baster, Tony McAvoy trained. Cost $240,000 for the Australian Easter sale, so we'd want that to show something here.
And Simon O'Donnell and Terry Henderson, part owners of Kay Bellamia.
Yes.
Stephen Baster aboard.
Yeah, good to see Stephen back. Very good rider.
Regal Tess in the gates. Fair bit starts on its outside. It goes up to the line now. So the first on Oaks Day is about to get underway. It's over 1,000 metres for the babies, 2-year-old fillies. The favourite Flashed, number 2. They're racing now. And jumping away well towards the inside for Renza with Cats. They are going to split up. Light of Day down towards the inside, and also up there in the early part was Chloe with Class. And down the grandstand side of the track, showing good speed, was Nulor Trey, and Flashed us up there with it towards the outside rail. Was Cirque du Soleil, and Kay Bellamia was there as well. They're all going pretty quickly. Fuji Dance is a couple of lengths off that pack, but coming down the grandstand side. Regal Tess is about 6th, and then Walk the Valkyries. Under pressure, Fair Bit and Raw Trees. On the flat side, Cats 2 lengths in front of Chloe with Class, who's trying to get up on its inside, but running to a dead end. Forenza under the whip 3rd from Paradis, and then Light of Day. Down the grandstand side, and the favourite Flash went to the lead. Over Kay Bellamia, Raw Trees running on, so's Fuji Dancer, and then Cirque du Soleil. The outside have it though. The favourite Flashed in front of Kay Bellamia and Fuji Dancer. Flashed is going strongly, and she remains unbeaten. Flash the winner by 2 lengths. Second placing goes to Kay Bellamia. Fuji Dancer may have got 3rd on the inside of out wide of Raw Trees, which ran on pretty well. Back behind them would have been Nulor Trey, and then Regal Tess, Cirque du Soleil, Fair Bit, and then came Walk the Valkyries, and on the flat side they were clearly beaten. They were headed by Chloe with Class, Forenza, Cats, and then came Light of Day and Paradis, which knocked up on the time very quick.
Oh yeah, 57.5, only 2 seconds outside the track record held by Special, so I definitely think this track will be upright. Very good win by Flashed. The Intel had the advantage of its race. It raced as true and as straight as one thing. Kay Bellamia, that ran home very well, nice run. But here you can see them here on the outside rail, 3 in the green colours. That's Flashed, ridden by Patrick Payne, Robert Smerton trained, raced as straight as a die. Never looked like shifting any ground. And it's had that advantage of having the 1 run at Bendigo where it won very well. Other horses have ran home pretty well.
4th in was number 11, Raw Trees, and the official numbers are 2, 3 and 18.
Yeah, here's a lovely shot of them head on. Paddy Payne just riding hands and heels. Flash is just doing the job beautiful for him. Gone to the line very well there. He's just had a nice little coast there. The others have still been ridden along. But it's a big advantage, Dan, if you've had that advantage of having a run.
Probably only about a head to a half a neck between 2nd and 3rd, and there's a smaller margin between 3rd and 4th. Let's link up with Mark Aston.
Thank you very much, Dan. Yes, Robert Smerton joins us. Congratulations. She's a beautiful filly.
Yeah, Mark, she's a lovely filly. Her mother actually won this race herself as a 2-year-old, and she went through the Wheeling sale in Sydney. Henry Plumtree bought her for the connections for $65,000. Herself now a stakes winner. She's well worth it.
Yeah, and straight as a gun barrel.
Yeah, she had the benefit. We took her to Bendigo to a provincial meeting, which might seem a humble start for her, but we just thought that race experience and race condition would stand her in good stead today. And She's still a little bit green, but when you put her under pressure, I think the experience did tell.
Now to the paddock.
Yeah, short break. I don't get long off, but hopefully she can measure up in the autumn to some of the better races.
Congratulations. We hope we get a chance to chat to you again a little bit later on in the day.
Thanks, Mark. I like meeting you. It means I won a race.
Yeah, we got on well, haven't we? Thank you, Peter.
Mark Aston with Robert Smurden, and there is this filly Flashed, who did a very good job, I thought, Jen and John, because she was probably about 4 or 5 off the rail in the early stages, and sometimes the babies tend to wander around when they get in that spot.
Yes, well, she had that benefit of one run under her belt too, Pete, and nice relaxed filly. You can see her coming back there, Patrick Payne on board. Well, you've got Patrick Payne on board, you've always got a hope, haven't you?
Strong at the finish too, Letzi. I think when she matures, as she gets older, she'll get a distance.
She's a lovely filly too, Pete.
Yeah.
Look at her there. She just knows she is a real racehorse, and of course, Patrick Payne, isn't he just poetry in motion on a racehorse?
Is he ever?
Good effort by the second horse, Kebella Mia, part owned by a good friend of ours in Simon O'Donnell. And third, Fuji Dancer, number 18, just in front of Raw Trees. The time will be interesting. We might see if we can check on that in the first and see just what the track condition is stacking up to be. 55.5 is the record here, so we will check on the time. For the first, it was 57.5 seconds. So 57.5. That indicates to me that the track is good.
Yes, and I think it'll dry out more throughout the day too, Pete.
So Gary Willet's probably spot on. I think we'll expect an upgrade very shortly with 2-year-olds running 2 seconds outside a record, held by the mighty Special, who I think may have been in foal when she set a record here. She certainly did race in foal.
I'm sure she was.
There's Flash striding to the line. 1 down, 8 to go on Crown Oaks Day for 2001. When we come back, the weight signal and the dividends on the first event. There's Flashed out of a mare called Bright Light, who Robert Smurden told us was a previous winner of this race, the listed Subaru Stakes. It went by another name in those days, but we thank Subaru for their sponsorship, as we do with all of the sponsors who are part of this great Melbourne Cup Carnival for 2001. Certainly one of the greatest racing carnivals, if not the greatest racing carnival in the world. And look at this crowd. It is just such a different scene to Tuesday. We were just looking out the back window of our studio here, and the grass was pretty bare at this time going back on Tuesday, Jen, but look at the flocking of people out there on the lawn area.
Wow, I'd be amazed if we don't get over 100,000 here today, Pete.
And
look at the queue.
They're rolling in, and they'll be rolling in, I tell you, for probably about the next 2 hours, because a lot of people will be getting out here not for the first, and those people are still trying to get into the racecourse, so we are definitely going to top the 100,000, you would think. Now let's see if we get the weight signal after the first of 9 times for the ritual for Chairman of Stewards Des Gleeson. Had a fairly busy day on Tuesday.
That filly looked like she might have got an injury, because they were just having a look at her back legs, Robert Smurden, and that, whether she got galloped on or not. But you just,
yeah, I did notice him coming out.
She might have suffered an injury at the back. Yeah, she has. She's been galloped on the offside. See that mark up on her tendon?
Okay.
Just below, just about 2 inches down from the white at the back of her offside hind leg, which is the right-hand side leg. She's sustained an injury, so hopefully, well, it's not serious.
Yeah, let's hope it's nothing too severe, and we might get Mark Aston to have a chat to Robert and just make sure that it is okay. We have the weight signal. Correct weight is there after the first, so let's get the dividends with Dan Malicki.
Favourite winning, Flashed, $3 and $1.10. 280 on New South Wales and Queensland Toads for the win dividend. 280 the place for Shea Bellamia. Fuji Dancer 19.10, Quinella $12.10, Exacta 23.20, Trifecta 929.10. Fourth in was number 11 and fifth in was number 8. So the favourite winning, and was strongly supported all the way through there, Tim.
It certainly was. It was the best back runner in the race, Dan Malecki. So a good start for the punters, not so for the bookmakers, who reported about a 50-50 day on Cup Day. Turning to race 2 on the program, Fra's Turn will open up favourite. And Peter, I can tell you that the best tipped horse down in the betting ring for the Oaks is number 11, Tully Thunder. It's about $9 at the moment, and Magical Miss is the favourite, and all the mail is for Tully Thunder, number 11.
Not surprisingly, after its run in the Qantas Wakeful Stakes the other day, Tim Gossage, thank you very much for that report. And shortly we'll have the presentation for race 1. Race 2, let's have a look at the totes for the second race on the card. He Guy has come up the favourite. It's my choice, Jen. What did you go for?
I've gone for number 15, Verbal, so we'll have to wait and see what price Verbal is. He got blocked for a run at a vital stage at his run at Geelong last start, Pete, and drops in weight too, had 58 there.
$15.30, thank you.
He's very good odds.
But you wouldn't want to be backing him in Queensland. He has come up extremely short compared to the Super Tab and New South Wales dividend, so the value there for Verbal number 15. What did you go for, Letzi?
I went for the favourite, Pete. I went for Here Guy. I just feel from barrier 1, Danny Nicklick. He's on a roll at the moment, Danny, and Miles Plum. Well, we don't have to mention Miles Plum's a very good trainer, and I do think he's going to have the run of the race, Here Guy. Very good form for this race.
And Dan Malicki has gone for Sporting Scribe number 3, which is out of the John Hawke stable, and Fra's Turn number 10 is the selection from Gary Willits, one trained by Tony McAvoy. Now, we've heard that the injury that appeared to be on Flashed there in the mounting yard for the first race apparently was an old injury, and it was done out in the paddock. So I think Rob was just making sure that it hadn't been reactivated there, and that's good news.
Good news, Pete, isn't it? There.
Excellent.
There it is there, actually. You can see it now, see it?
Yep.
It looks like she must have done that into a fence.
So, hopefully, everything's okay there, and it looks as though it certainly is. Everything's okay for the connections have flashed, and it's time now for the presentation after the Subaru Stakes. And here is the National Advertising Manager of Subaru, Joanne Dent.
Chairman, Committee of the VRC, ladies and gentlemen, Subaru Australia is delighted to have supported Subaru Stakes and the Melbourne Cup Carnival telecast on Channel 10. Our sponsorship of this race represents a new departure for us into the wonderful world of horse racing. Well done to Patrick Payne and Flash for a spectacular race. And now please join me in congratulating Ron Dufficy, the owner of Flash.
Well done, Joanne Dent, representing Subaru for the presentation after the first race. Let's head to the break now. The second event, the Chadstone Fashion Plate, is the next here at Flemington on Crown Oaks Day. Scheduled starting time, 12.
Scalacci. I was only a very young chap when I started riding him.
Oh, it's a photo between superimpose and naturalism.
Mind Power.
All Our Mob would have been one of the best horses I rode. He was a Group 1 winner from 1,200 to 2,000 metres, and he was probably just an all-round professional.
Sunline, without a doubt.
Why?
Record speaks for itself.
I think Faraone being the most precocious and freakish galloper.
I've got probably a string of them, but we haven't got the time to go through them.
Shogun Lodge, he's the type of horse you take to war with you. He's always there when you need him.
I have to say, Brew, he won a Melbourne Cup for me, so you can't do much more than that.
Yes, well, he would be Kieran McAvoy's favourite horse, Brew, the winner of the 2000 Melbourne Cup. Now, a little bit later on in our telecast today, we're going to be finding out what Brew's up to at the moment, and I can tell you he's got a vastly different job. That's coming up a little bit later on. Let's have a look at the Oaks, Jen and John, and we're going to have a look at a couple of replays. First of all, we're going to have a look at the 1,000 Guineas, one of the traditional lead-up races. It was at Caulfield going back a few weeks ago. Magical Miss is the winner, trained by Bart Cummings, and is looking for Oaks victory number 8, Jennifer.
Yes, this is a nice win, Peter. Of course, it's over the 1,600 metres. I think she's got the potential, obviously, to be a very good stayer. She's got that style. She's with Bart Cummings. She has done everything right, and she was finishing off her race nicely on Saturday as well, so she's going to be tough to beat.
And that was Lilo Lil in the yellow and black colours getting home into third place there, in fact, and she also ran a very good race on Saturday. The Wakeful Stakes is the traditional lead-up, let's see, and 5 of the past 10 winners of the Wakeful have gone on to win the Oaks, and most of the others have been placed as well, and Keys was the victor on Saturday.
She had a lovely cushy run here, Pete Keys. She'll most likely get it again today, but I did actually like the run of Magical Miss. Her splits for the last 600 was just exceptional. She went 33.5 for the last 600, was I think the fastest of the day of any horse.